Hi there, this is Clovis from Kinematic Lab. In this video I will talk about VecMap Painter. So this is a new plugin for 3ds Max to paint vector maps directly on your meshes. These vectors will then be used to deform UVs, to drive particles or even brush the V-Rafer. So we will first talk about the pflow driving mode, and to do that I will create a simple geometry in my scene like this plane, okay? And then I will pick it with the Pick Source Geometry button. And as you can see, when I picked it, the Painter tool changed from UV to pflow here. I will talk about that later. And it sets the map color to a mid-range gray. Now, if you press the Paint button, you can see the brush pointer in blue here when the mouse is over the mesh. And if you left-click and drag, you start painting. Right, so I just painted something very simple, okay? And now we will create a very simple pflow system. So I go in my particles here, I create a pf source, and I go to my particle view. So I will get rid of the speed, rotation and shape for now. For the example I don't need that. And I will add a data preset. There are two data presets coming with this tool, okay? Rotate from Vex and speed from Vex. And let's use speed from Vex. In this new node you have to pick the object where the map is, here, the VecMap object. So I will pick it here. So what it does is it reads the map, okay, and each particle will take the closest pixel information. I will change my position icon here to position object, and I will pick this geometry. Okay, I will add more particles. Okay. And I will add a spawn by travel. So where is the spawn? Here. Okay, by travel distance. And just a display. Okay. So we will see with this spawn, we will just see the trajectory of the particles. So we will see the moving particles and a trail. I will just say here that it doesn't inherit. Okay. Great. So now if I play the animation, you see that the particles are following the direction I painted, okay, which is great because that's what we want to do. And now let's go back to our data preset here. You can change the particle speed from here. So if I play the animation the specific speed, I can slow it down. Okay, or make it faster. Etc. And I also can choose to project the particles on the surface or not. So to do that, I check the stick to surface option and pick a geometry here. So for now it is generated from the plane, so it doesn't change anything, but you should pick the object you want to project to. So we will use the plane with the map as a projection object, okay, but it can be any geometry. So now if I deform this plane, I will add a noise modifier. Okay. You see that because we checked the stick to surface and we pick this object, the particles are really following the map to do the directions, but also they are sticking to the geometry. If I hide it, you can see the result. Okay. So now we have a basic pflow setup, so we can go back to the painter to explore more options. Okay, so when you paint, I will start painting again. You can use the shortcut Alt to erase. Okay, Control Shift to change the brush radius. And also the Shift key to draw straight lines. You can also change the blur of the gradient brush. Okay, so if I set it to 1 or more, you can have a more sharp brush or a very blurry one. And you can change the blur, the brush opacity here as well. So when you paint, you can go very smooth on what is happening. Okay, you can smooth down the particle trajectories. And the more blurry your brush is, the smoother will be the particle movements between the painted vectors. Okay, you also have an attract push option here. So when you use it, I will just reset the map. When you use it, the particles are attracted or pushed away center. So you see there is a center point here in red. Okay. If I play the animation, you see that the particles are attracted here. I will increase the opacity a bit. Okay. And if you press Shift while you paint this, you have the inverse effect, so it pushes the particles away from the center here. You also have undo and redo option. Okay, so you can undo and redo, and as I used before, the reset option to reset your map. I will just paint a little map like that. Okay, and here you can change the map size, okay, dynamically. So when you check it, it just changes the map size. And you can save and reload your maps, of course. So now to finish, we've painted on the plane, but since we are painting a 3D vector map, we can paint on a real 3D mesh and stick the particles to it. So let's create a geosphere, for example. With a little bit more geometry like that. Okay, I will pick it as a source. And now I can paint here. So of course now I have to change my pflow to use the sphere instead of the plane, so I will just change these objects, and you have your particles following the 3D on your mesh, 3D vector map. There is something else you can do here, is you can use a specific object to read the map and project on to another object, for example. So let's, for example, paint a vector map on this plane. Okay. And here on pflow I will just say on the vector map to read the map from the plane, okay, but I will keep the particle generated from the sphere basically, so, and they will also project on the sphere. So each generated particle will just read the vector map from the closest pixel on this plane. So if I move it, it will move the particles too. Okay. And I asked in the data preset here, I asked the particles to just stick to the geosphere, but I could remove this and it would just follow this vector map. I'll just paint some more details here. Okay, I think that's it for now. I will make another video to talk about the other options, to deform UVs and fur, and probably more to explain other things and do some examples as well. Cheers, bye bye.